Hey there, hope you're doing well. I'm going to show you guys why clothing brands should be on TikTok, and not just clothing brands. You can honestly apply this to any other type of brand. I'm just going to talk about clothing brands since I've personally have worked with clothing brands on this, and because it's something that I've noticed a lot of brands don't even do. So let's just get right into the video. So thanks for checking out this video. Like I said, I'm going to be going over why clothing brands should be on TikTok. So I guess without further ado, we can get started. So let's go over this little case study here. So there are tons of like clothing brands that are killing it on the platform, especially ones that are doing very well. Um, there's some that are doing well and have mastered the game extremely well, especially on the organic side of things. One in particular, I typed in the username that way because that's how you type it in. That's their username on TikTok. It's called See the Way I See, which every time they pretty much release a drop, they pretty much sell out. They make like 200K a month doing so, which is amazing. Their margins are pretty high because they don't spend anything on ads. Most of it's just organic. So they're killing it. They really are killing it, and they're doing amazing. It's just phenomenal. And the fact that their brand is producing that amount, and they're getting to that point, it just goes to show that you can replicate the success, and you pretty much have no excuse as to why your brand is not doing well, especially on TikTok, or why you're not on TikTok. You should have no excuses to being on this platform and not succeeding, because there's brands like this that are doing very well and are able to master it, and realistically they keep their content pretty simple. It's nothing too crazy. So how is this brand able to do it? Well, if you look at her videos, and the person that runs the brand is a woman. She's a very very nice person. Few things that spring to mind with what she does. For starters, this brand has a really great message behind it. Mental health awareness. It's always something that people love to talk about. People have a high passion for, because mental health is obviously a very important subject and something that's very integral in our society. A lot of people like to talk about mental health awareness, whether that's on the men and women's side. Um, it's just a very large topic, and a very topic that a lot of people can get behind around and not cause too much division on. So you couple that with the fact that the brand owner puts her face onto the brand, makes content out of her stuff, does a lot of unique styles of content relative to her brand. She has a very unique aesthetic with the way she does things. The way she's able to make a story out of the brand as well, make her message be known and have people resonate with that. That's a recipe for success, and that's why she has nearly 480,000 followers on TikTok and 130,000 on Instagram, right? So you couple that with the fact that she's able to get like thousands of people pulling up to her website and buying her products every time she drops. That just proves that realistically all you need is just a message and good content around that message. You need to be able to tell a story to the point where people can resonate with that and be able to get behind you and your message and your brand. So that's what it takes. That's how she was able to do it. And she was able to do it in a very unique way relative to her brand, to her aesthetic, to her style, to the point where people were able to, get behind such a message like, mental health. Obviously she picked a niche that, everyone can get behind around, but you can still apply this to any, type of niche or, style or anything like that, because there's always an audience for something. Even if it's something like cars, your clothing brand, let's say, is based around cars, there's going to be an audience for that. There's going to be an audience behind people that are into basketball, that are into sports, that are into pop culture, etc. And I guess I'll go over this in the next slide. So what could other brands really learn from this one? Instead of showcasing, the clothing pieces that they have based off how cool they look or maybe the designs, they could have a story behind that, behind that design or behind the clothing, and have a message that people can resonate with. If let's say like, you're a clothing brand that, sells basketball or whatever, and you want to be something that, maybe shapes the game in terms of the clothing, etc., maybe shape the way the culture is around the game. If you have a story like that, people can get behind that, because, the sports culture always changes, and, there's, whether that's different players or, fashion, stuff like that. Stuff like that can change the culture around the sport. Whether it's a generational talent in a player, or for example, Michael Jordan not only changed the game and in terms of the game itself, but he changed the game in terms of fashion as well, in terms of, the shoes. Think about how many basketball players are wearing Jordans every time they play ball, right? And it's not just, a basketball statement, it's also a fashion statement. And, doing something like that, obviously you're not going to be the next Jordan. I mean, maybe you can. It's not impossible, but to replicate what he did for the game is pretty much a once in a lifetime thing. So obviously, if you're going to replicate a success on a fashion level, on a clothing level, maybe that's possible. But obviously, changing the culture all around, like not in and outside of the game, in and outside of the court is obviously, something that's levels above most. But, regardless whether the message is fighting mental health or putting awareness to mental health or fighting past demons, past trauma, or even just a little pop culture reference, people are going to resonate with something, and especially if it aligns with their values and what they believe in or their interests. So, like I said, there's always an audience for something, no matter what it is. It could be the most extreme thing possible or the most craziest thing possible. There's an audience for something, even if that audience isn't a ton of people. So I always like to put in perspective, like realistically, you just need at least like 100 or 200 customers, and you're already at 5 figures a month, especially if like you charge more, like if you charge between like 30 to $70, or if not a lot more. Obviously, the more you charge, obviously the less customers you need. But to put that in perspective, I mean, if you have a brand that has like 20,000 followers or something, and you're making like less than 5 figures a month, realistically, it's not that you're getting the wrong people. It's like those people want to buy your products. It's just that the way you're marketing it just needs to change a little bit, and then you're there. And what these brands are able to do is remarkable, because they're able to capitalize off of their brand, capitalize off of their messaging, off their content, and get people to buy their stuff because they have a message with what they sell. They have a good story. They're people that you want to get behind, and they have something that people can, want to invest their own money in, which is, a cool clothing piece that talks about, mental health. So the content made for that brand is pretty simple, and it gets a good amount of views, usually gets over, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. Sometimes, it hits a few million occasionally, but, it's usually from its own messaging and its style of content. Develop a message and a unique style of content. Realistically, you're going to be seeing success, and it is going to take time. This obviously is not going to happen overnight. Those days, like I said, like in 2020, 2019, even like early 2021, where you just upload a video and you get viral, like in a snap, it's not like that anymore. So, like I said, it is going to take some time to develop that organic game, but when it does develop, when you do find your style, when you find your message that you want to say, when you are able to tell stories within your content, when you're able to have content that optimizes and converts, you are going to see such success. And, regardless of what you sell, like I said, since there's an audience for everything, you're bound to see success. So that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I hope you got a lot of great value from it. Hopefully you got some insight as to, how you should be structuring your brand. Even if your brand isn't a clothing brand, I still think these exact fundamentals can apply to you. So like I said, hopefully you got a lot of value from it. Hopefully you got tons of insight and, even some strategies that you can implement. So hopefully you can implement these for your own brand or business and see the success from that. And yeah, hope you got a ton of value from this video. Hope to see you in the next one. And yeah, I'll see you soon.